This is really cool. 8 essential watercolor techniques. Hey everyone, in this video I am going to demonstrate 8 watercolor techniques that will teach you how to use watercolor paints. The materials you will need: watercolor paper, watercolor paints, paint brushes, paper towel. I am going to begin by wet on wet. The first thing I am going to do is get a paintbrush, wet the surface on my paper where I want to paint my wet on wet technique. In this case I will be doing it in the wet on wet. I am covering only the area I want to paint. Once I have completely wet the area I am going to paint, I take my paintbrush and dip it and brush the area that is wet gently by moving around the paint. Wet on dry. This technique is very important when adding freeze detail to your painting. Take a clean paint and dip it on the paint and then use the paintbrush to paint on the dry paper. You will notice that the paint will stay exactly where you placed it. I always use the technique when I want to add details to my paintings, like a stem on a flower. Blotting. This technique involves the removal of color from your paper using some form of paper towel, Q-tip or even etc. I will be using a paper towel. I will be wetting my surface where I want to do be painting, and then I will apply a generous amount of painting. Once that is completed, I will take my paper towel and I will be use it lift the paint off depending on paper towel. Bleeding. Bleeding is done almost same way you do wet on wet technique. You will introduce 2 or more colors. Be sure wet your paper thoroughly. I will begin by painting the area in one color and then I will introduce another one color. Your final result should be subtle blending of one color into another. Graded wash. You could do this technique with the wet on wet or wet on dry, both. This technique involves taking one color and gradually blending it into another color. I will be doing it using the wet on dry technique. I will take my blue and started on the top, brightening my color 1/3 of the way down. Then I will use the purple and begin slightly touching the blue and begin working my way down. I am only going to do about 1/3 of the way because now I want to start adding the pink. I will begin painting with my pink and slightly touching the purple. Glazing. It is a technique used to paint transparent layers over one another. I will begin by applying a paint on top of the painted, and with every additional layer the tone value will become darker. I will start by painting a petal on the paper. You must allow it to completely dry before proceeding with the next petal. You will then add a petal and continue to layer it each time. How to layering? Layering is a form of color mixing by layering 2 different colors. I will begin painting with a blue layer. Once it is completed dry, I will add a red layer. Please allow each layer to completely dry before painting over it. Now I will add another layer in yellow. If you enjoyed this video, like and comment, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.